Oh my gosh, y'all. I played the worst game on the PlayStation. Like, this is bar none the worst. It is so bad, and I cannot wait to tell you all about my experience with it. This is Ancient Roman, the legendary Kusage. So yeah, come with me as I tell you all about it, and I do think that that is worth a sub, as I'm trying my hardest to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And with your help, your like, and your sub, I do think that I can get there. So, this game was recently translated into English. It was released back at the PlayStation back in like 96, and now it's here for our enjoyment. I'm using that very loosely because there's nothing to enjoy here. It immediately starts out with like a Star Wars scrolling thing, and it tells you that Kai is a tragic prince, and then after that, apparently, the planet just kind of blows up randomly, and it shows cities blowing up, and it shows this guy's face just blowing up. It's just so stupid. But apparently 1,000 years have passed since the planet just blew up randomly, and the planet's still there or whatever, and there's also a Pinocchio doll just kind of lying around like, what? Why is that Pinocchio doll there? But anyway, it cuts in to a queen holding this baby, and then an evil demon comes in and grabs the queen, and she just literally just sits there. She doesn't even try to fight back. She just sits there, and he grabs her by the hair and throws her in a corner, and God, these cutscenes, they are so awful. They're so frickin' bad. Fast forward 17 years from that, and Kai wakes up from a nightmare. He's screaming, "Mommy, mommy!" But there's actually no waking up animation, so he just literally teleports out of bed and onto the floor, because there's only a laying animation and a walking animation. That's it. He hears this rumor about how there might be a secret passage or something inside one of the sleeping quarters. So in his own sleeping quarter, literally a foot away from his bed, he pushes a barrel and boom, there's a stairwell there. Wow, I can't believe you've never seen that before. It's literally a foot away, but whatever. So he goes through the secret passage to escape, and he ends up in the monster's guardhouse or whatever, and he hears that the monsters are just going to slaughter everybody the next day. So of course he has to go back and warn everybody, but the old man, his best friend, Jonathan, he talks about how, he doesn't want to fight back. He says that nobody should do this, we should just accept our fate, and it's give me a break. And apparently he also used to work at the castle where he met heroes who have spirit power, and he feels the same spirit power coming from Kai. But he still wants Kai to escape with this spirit power, but everybody else should just, die. The rest of the townsfolk don't really seem to agree with Jonathan for, obvious reasons, so they arm you with a knife and a trash can to go and lead the rebellion. And then some random ass girl comes on in and says she wants to fight along with Kai too. And of course, the old man, the curmudgeon Jonathan, doesn't want her to. Because, she has a vagina, so of course she can't actually fight. But she does have clothes and medicine, and then she teaches you the heal spell. And she apparently teaches the heal spell to everybody. Everybody now learns the heal spell, so that's nice, I guess. So you go outside, and you're looking around, and everybody's fighting? It kind of looks like they're waltzing or dancing or something. It's very odd. And by the way, whenever you move, you walk at a snail's pace. You walk so slow. So you have to hit the O button to actually, move at a decent speed. So you're constantly holding that O button, and there is no, always run or anything else like that. So you get into your first battle against the guard boss, and he's ridiculously hard. It's unbelievable. I can't believe it. The battles are your standard turn-based affair. Nothing new here. But get this. Every single time that you attack an enemy, or an enemy attacks you, the game freezes because of the sound effects. This game is so bad, it literally cannot process someone doing a sound effect. It's unfreaking believable. By the way, the girl, Michaela, she died in one hit. And when she did, she literally, boop, she flown off the screen. It was absolutely ridiculous. I was dying laughing. Thankfully, we did take out Puga the guard, and he flew off screen too, and Apparently, Burke doesn't have a waist. Like, I don't know. It's really odd. It's so stupid. And, rip in peace. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And rip in peace. That's just great. So they go back and they race back and they check on the others. And whenever they say, hey, we better race back, they literally walk as slow as humanly possible out of this door, just in time for another glorious cutscene where Jonathan kicks the bucket. Bye, bitch. Bye. He gives you a ring and he tells you to show it to the elder of Mel Village. So, of course, do you get healed up after, like, the hardest battle ever? No. Mel only has 1 HP, so I started casting heal on the characters, and it's so, like, instead of whenever you can't cast a spell anymore, instead of, like, graying it out, the spell just vanishes from your spell list. It's just no longer there. You can't even see it. Like, it's unbelievable. I cannot even stand it. Now, I thought that the music was bad before inside the first town. I leave, I go into a forest. My ears are just assaulted with some of the worst music I've ever heard in my entire life. Then I get to encounter with some hook bees. But get this is so freaking stupid. So, in order to actually move around the field, like I said before, the walking speed is so slow. In order to actually move around the field at a reasonable pace, you have to run, and you do that by holding the O button. But whenever you're holding on the O button, the game doesn't give you any encounters. You encounter no monsters whatsoever. You only encounter monsters whenever you're walking around at a snail's pace. So if you don't want to get underleveled, you literally have to, like, walk around so freaking slow. Like, who thought that this was a good idea? So if you do encounter, like, the next boss fight, you're gonna have, like, no levels unless you just slowly walk, because you're gonna be wanting to run everywhere. You'd be completely screwed. I cannot believe how often this game freezes in these encounters, and the loading times between battles. Insane. So, we make it out of the forest. And then we randomly encounter some gate or a wall or something called the Rune Gate, and it was built to protect a town from the monsters in the forest, so of course, we need to get through the gate. But guess what? The music's actually worse in the gate. I thought it was bad in the forest. It is worse in this gate. We make it to the gate, and then we get to a world map, which isn't really like a world map, it's just like a static screen where you can kind of like go from one place to another, kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics. But I've got to say, the graphics on the world map on this static screen are so much better than anything in the real game proper. This looks like it was first designed on the SNES. This is the way that the game should look. This is absolutely gorgeous. Why doesn't Kai look like this in the real game? This is great. This looks so much better. We're like never on this world map, but it's the prettiest part of the frickin' game. And then you're just assaulted back into the awful music and awful dilapidated brown town next that's apparently a ghost town of some sort, and even though it's empty, Michaela, the girl, still feels like somebody's watching her. So of course we need to wander around the town and look around. And they find a building to spend the night, kind of an abandoned house or whatever. So they go inside of it, and Michaela's still like, oh, somebody's watching me, I don't know. So they literally play rock, paper, scissors to find out who's going to stay up for the watch. Yeah, I know. So Burke is chosen to stay outside of the room. The other two go in to rest, and he's out there and he's talking and he's like, oh my god, I almost fell asleep. I can't believe I lost, blah, 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 blah. And then after that, randomly, the other two party members, Kai and Michaela, they start screaming. So Burke runs inside of there, and there's a monster with claws or something, and apparently his name is Boo-Ray. Boo-Ray, that's fantastic. And he once lived as a human, but he was transformed into a monster along with everybody else in town with a people becoming monsters disease. That's literally what it's called. So we have to try to do something to help solve the people becoming monsters disease. So apparently there's some magician out there that they already know about who's researching a cure for these people becoming monsters. So we need to go to the city north of there, Lakemont, and then Boo-Ray just vanishes. He literally just vanishes. I don't know if he died, I don't know what happened to Boo-Ray, and your party members don't care either. He literally vanishes, and they're like, oh, well, let's just get some rest. It's fine. You know, you have the vanished, dead, God knows what monster, but let's just go to sleep. Let's just leave for Lakemount. Next morning comes, and I am stuck in this inn. I cannot figure out how to leave the room. I cannot get out of this room. I am seriously stuck inside this room. I was in there, pressing against the walls, every single wall, for over 5 minutes, mashing the A button to try to activate something. I'm stuck inside this room. And I think that that's like a sign from God, being like, you've suffered enough. You're good. You're good. You don't need to do it anymore. So I spent about an hour or so with this game, and it was an hour of pure hell and misery. So, I mean, it was a fun time, though. I mean, I heard about this, and I had to just try it out. I had to do that, and I wanted to share my experience with y'all, and just let you know that this game is trash. And if you want to torture yourself, be sure to play it. It's Ancient Roman for the PlayStation. So anyway, hope that you all enjoyed this kind of off-the-cuff video, and have a good day.